Going on YouTube, it's RippedMinds here, and today I am going to show you my updated settings. So right now is Season 3, you know Verdansk is here, another season of ranked play. So let's go do the settings, because there's a couple settings I did tweak, and as I'm going through, this is my ranked play settings in multiplayer, but there's only like 2 settings I change for Warzone, and once you change it, it automatically changes it depending on what game you're on, you know what I mean? So you don't have to keep switching it back and forth like that last title. So right now we're in the controller section. Default stick pattern. I run the 1.5 sensitivity on both vertical and horizontal. Don't mess with any of that. Vibration off. Here's my dead zones. This is controller specific, so it's, you want the most responsive as possible, but with no stick drift. So my left stick's obviously lower, so you can get better movement on the left stick moving around, and this is my right stick where you aim and whatnot and look around. I have a Scuf impact, and it's a fairly new controller. It's only a couple years old, so I don't have no stick drift or anything, so that's why it's at 5, but I recommend starting at 5 and working your way down. And it's wherever you feel comfortable, especially with the aiming part. But try to aim for your left stick to be as, touchy as possible. So here we're in the next tab, is the aiming. I don't mess with the sensitivity multiplier. Actually, I do. A lot of people just run 1.0, which is default, but I always ran 0.80 in all the titles, and this is from my sniping days and whatnot. This just does, once you are in ADS, it's your sensitivity in ADS. So instead of it, 1.0 would just be your regular sense. Once you ADS, same thing. So this, I just slowed it down a little bit, so it helps with especially with sniping and quick scoping. But it's slightly down, so it's not too slow, and so it's not much of a difference. I mean, I don't know. I just always ran it like this. This is what was good for me, and it's still good for the sniping. Anyway, if you want to mess with that, you can. It's just like an extra sensitivity, just only an ADS. And here, only thing I changed was, you want that instant, which is default, I believe. And I'm running a dynamic curve type, and you want that cranked up. Let's see, I don't have anything here. Let's check this out. I don't think we changed anything here. Oh yeah, you definitely want to make sure you have FOV sensitivity scaling off. There was one season update, I had this on, I had no idea, because once the update happened, it like changed some settings. So that's why every time I load up the game, I always double check my settings, especially graphic ones, because it affects performance. But make sure that's off. That's why I got it in my star, so I can look at my favorites. So it's like a quick look. But otherwise, movement, mantle assist off. Want all those off. That's at tight. That's fine, because it's off anyway, so it ain't gonna matter. So you want that off. Crouch assist off. I got corner slice on. That's a must. I run the hybrid, or you can just run slide only, but I like to dive sometimes, so still running hybrid. Sprint restore on, slide on. Parachute behavior, you have that off, but that's for Warzone. So you have to worry about that. Movement advanced settings, nothing crazy here. Oh yeah, grounded mantle off, and that's pretty much it there. Vehicle, ain't gonna worry about that. Ain't much here, I don't think. You have that for apply off Warzone, of course, so you have that set. What's in here? Nothing crazy. So that's it in here. So let's go into graphics real quick. So let's see. Dynamic resolution off. So here with the upscaling and sharpening, if you feel you need some more sharpening, run the fidelity cast. But I wouldn't mess with anything else in there, to be honest with you. I run 1440p for my resolution, so I skipped a tab, huh? But let me finish this point. I run 1440p, so the graphics are just, you know, good as it is. You know what I mean? So I don't use any of this stuff because the cast does affect FPS a little, but it's a minimal impact, but for the sharpness. So I just use my 1440p for the more sharpness. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Okay, 1440p, you can see more. But let's go back to display real quick because I skipped that tab. You want the full screen exclusive. This is your display monitor, the GPU. You want your refresh rate here, obviously the highest. So mine's 165 refresh rate, 1440p. So you want your native resolution, your native aspect ratio, or you can just do automatic. But I always like to select it. Nothing here. NVIDIA low reflex, low latency, I have that on. So if you're in CPU bound cases, you want to put this on plus boost. So in my cases, my CPU is kind of more powerful than my GPU. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I put a beefy CPU in it. So I know my CPU runs a little bit quicker than the GPU, which you kind of could tell with the GPU time and CPU time. It's slightly different, but if they're the same too, like it's the same speed, you just want to put this on. Because on plus boost affects performance just a little bit with FPS, but it helps with latency, you know what I mean? So I would just start with on and then go from on plus boost if you're needed. I keep this at custom, which is whatever, it's just eco mode. You want your VSyncs off, custom frame limit. I have this at custom, but I crank it all the way up. I don't know why it's locked. But custom, for whatever reason it's locked, but I have custom and I crank the gameplay in-game all the way up, so it's unlimited only when you're in the game. So when we're in the menu right now, it's just at 80 FPS, as you see in the upper corner. So it's not overdoing your PC, because there's no point. And I have HDR on my monitor, but in the in-game setting, I turn that off. But my monitor setting, that you guys can't see here, I have it on. Just like high dynamic range, so it's a little bit more color and stuff. So now we're back in the quality thing. We left off over here. If you have AMD CPU, I would suggest running this. Shout out to All Profit Trey, our fellow endurance member. He showed me this, and it is tremendous. So turn this fucking bad Larry on. AMD FSR. It's Fidelity FX Super Resolution, frame generation, and it is wonderful. So click that on. You might need a reboot possibly. Right here, I'm just running. I think this is default scale target, but I have it at 80. But if you're getting packet bursts, I would lower it down. But I think 80 is like the sweet spot. I play with that a little bit. And you definitely want the variable rate shading on. So yeah, texture resolution very low. Texture. So you want this at very low. I mean, if you're on 1080p and it's like shitty graphics, I would just suggest Fidelity Cast to sharpen it. But very low will give you the most performance. But if you really need to, go to low. So very low or low. And as traffic, I have this at low, but you could put this at whatever. This don't affect FPS much at all. It just gives the corners and whatnot a little bit better of a look. Like I said, I'm on 1440p, so I don't need that. So I put that to low, set the field off, detail quality low. But you could play with that as well. It's not much of an impact. But like I said, I'm not gonna keep repeating it, but I run 1440p, so I don't need all the detail and stuff, so I get the most performance. Particle resolution very low, and you can have the impacts on or off, but I have that off, but you definitely want this off as well. Persistent effects. This will put some damper on your VRAM, so slow on your VRAM speed. Shader quality, you want that at low, 100%. This will affect FPS tremendously. Yes, it will make the colors look cool, but it takes a toll. You want this at minimal, and you want to clamp it. Put these as low as possible. In this game, as you know, even from Season 1, they don't give us an option to turn it off. Local texture streaming quality, you want that normal, so leave that at normal. So all this stuff you want off or very low, because that's shadows, and shadows always affect FPS, because it's ray tracing. Same thing with all this is ray tracing. So turn all that shit off. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're in the view. Alright? I have no idea what this shit is, but in competitive and multiplayer, and rank play in pubs, I run 100 FOV. This is actually the same FOV I ran in Cold War. In the last title, in the Modern Warfare, last two Modern Warfare games, I ran 105. So, but 100's good for Black Ops games, I guess, for me. But in Warzone, I run 115. I was running 120, but 115, good sweet spot for me. Affected, in the weapon field of view, put that to wide, so the weapon's not in your face as much. Wait, you know, you get to see more on your screen. We don't play third person, so we don't worry about that. So I put the vehicle at wide as well for the same reason. Blur off. You want these two at least, so your camera's not shaking. So that's it in graphics. So let's give a touch in audio. You know, this is all normal shit. I don't use the enhanced headphones, but I do use something else, which we'll get to, which everyone's using anyway. So I always use the bass boost, so we got the headphone bass boost audio mix. Right here, asymmetrical hearing compensation, definitely want this on. You get the more of a 3D sound, so you can kind of figure out where people are a little bit easier. It helps you direct sound, basically. If you really wanted to, a lot of S&D kids are using this. You could fuck with this. People that have preset things, but I don't use this. This is all fucking with the frequency. I'm old school, so this right here, good enough for me. And that's pretty much it there. Got the default hit markers thing. This is voice chat. Nothing too crazy here. Interface. Touch interface real quick. This is normal shit. Telemetry. Readability. Got the color customization. I run the filter 2. And the color, I put in just interface. Because I guess if you put it to both, or in the world, it actually slows down response time. That's what I heard from bands. So I don't use it in the world no more. I used to use both for the target, because it brightens up the world. I mean, technically, there's not much of a difference. I have the intensity up to 100. Let's see, square. I think that's it here. Got the crosshair. I used a larger one. A lot of people use the largest, but to me that's too big. And I'm using the white, the default white, but I actually might change this. Try to change it, possibly. So I'm gonna save this for later. I might change this to like a lighter color. A lot of people doing like lime green, just so you can see it a little bit better, because it's kind of faded sometimes. So I'm gonna save that in my favorites and try that out. Oh yeah, and crosshair spread on, of course. And that's pretty much it here, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the settings helped you. And yeah, thank you. And if you like the mayhem and you want to see it live, come by at twitch.tv/RippedMindsGaming. Come check it out, say hi. But otherwise, more content, more mayhem, more YouTube videos to come. Thank you for tuning in. Alright, chat.